What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to this incredibly exciting transfer news update video. Liverpool have a £111 British transfer record bid accepted for Moises Caicedo. We are an absolute brilliant club. I mean, I just cannot believe that during the night at 1:30 AM UK time, David Ornstein and Fabrizio reported that Liverpool have agreed a £110 million deal for Moises Caicedo with Brighton, and Brighton absolutely nailed this. They basically auctioned Moises Caicedo off. They set a deadline of midnight UK time and they said whoever wants to buy Caicedo, they have to put their highest bid on the table, and at midnight Brighton will see which club offers the most, and that's where Moises Caicedo is going. Even though Caicedo was already in London, he packed his locker up 5 days ago and he had of course his sights on Chelsea because Liverpool weren't really in the conversation. I said all along during the last 1 or 2 months Moises Caicedo would be the perfect transfer window, but even I honestly didn't believe Liverpool would bid the required amount of 90 to 100 million pounds, but I never even in my wildest dreams imagined Liverpool bidding 111 million pounds, plus Brighton have a sell-on clause on Moises Caicedo. Bayern Munich bid 90 million for Caicedo and Chelsea bid 100 million, but to outbid Chelsea, one of the biggest spenders of the last 18 months, is absolutely crazy. And we will take a look at how Liverpool are doing this financially, and also we will compare Moises Caicedo with Declan Rice and how good he is, and also we will talk about why didn't Liverpool go for Jude Bellingham when they had the money for Moises Caicedo. But you have to understand that Jude Bellingham's transfer fee would have been a little bit lower, but his wages would have been as much as Mo Salah, and you will have to increase the wages of a 19-year-old player gradually, and that would have completely destroyed Liverpool's wage structure. But we will talk all about that in detail. But guys, get this video to 500 likes and subscribe if you haven't already, so you never miss the latest transfer news updates on my channel. Half of you guys aren't subscribed, so make sure to subscribe. And absolutely brilliant, and I'm really buzzing because Moises Caicedo is the perfect player for this Liverpool rebuild. And for a net spend of 104 million pounds, Liverpool basically rebuilt their complete midfield with a 24-year-old Alexis McAllister, a 21-year-old Moises Caicedo and a 22-year-old Dominic Szoboszlai. This midfield is Liverpool's future, and honestly they could play together for almost a decade without a problem. Absolutely brilliant. I feel a little bit sorry for Romeo Lavia, but that could happen, that deal as well, because Liverpool haven't pulled out of those negotiations yet. But now I think Chelsea will want to sign Romeo Lavia. The most funny thing would be if Brighton used this money that Liverpool giving them and sign Romeo Lavia ahead of Chelsea. That would be absolutely brilliant. The biggest news is that Liverpool already booked a medical for Moises Caicedo, and Jurgen Klopp is doing a press conference as you are watching this video, or after you are watching this video. I will watch it later, and probably in the afternoon I could make another video if there are some major developments as well. But also Chris Williams, another journalist, is confirming that Liverpool approached Caicedo's camp last summer. They were inquiring, and in this winter transfer window their inquiring was very concrete. So this behind the scenes, Liverpool were always interested in Moises Caicedo, and as I speak, Liverpool are preparing documents for Moises Caicedo to sign, and hopefully those documents will be signed and no delay will be in his deal. Because imagine when Chelsea will play Liverpool, Moises Caicedo could already be a Liverpool player, and the Chelsea fans are absolutely losing their minds over this deal, which is absolutely brilliant. The Brighton fans don't like Chelsea at all, so they are happy that Moises Caicedo is joining Liverpool. And Ecuador's official Twitter account tweeted a picture of Moises Caicedo in an Ecuador shirt saying, "Moises, you will never walk alone," in Spanish, which is absolutely brilliant. Paul Joyce and Melissa Reddy both confirmed that Liverpool agreed a fee in the region of £110 million with Brighton for Moises Caicedo. I'm still absolutely over the moon. And Andy Naylor, who is a Brighton-based journalist, is saying that the deal is not fully completed yet, but Chelsea didn't get near Liverpool's offer by some distance, because Liverpool offered 111 million plus a buyback clause for, not a buyback clause, but a sell-on clause for Brighton, and Chelsea's offer was significantly lower at 100 million pounds. And considering Brighton signed Caicedo like 2.5-3 years ago for just 4 million pounds, they are making an absolute profit in all capital letters on Moises Caicedo. But he's exactly the type of midfielder that Liverpool need: a fast, dynamic, energetic, really robust, and he's an out-and-out defensive midfielder, a perfect replacement for Fabinho. In recent history, I think the player who is similar to Caicedo the most is Javier Mascherano. I think he's exactly the type of midfielder, and Javier Mascherano was an absolute legend, and we only found a few years after he departed Liverpool his perfect replacement, which was Fabinho. But now to find Fabinho's perfect replacement literally in the same transfer window is absolutely a colossal piece of business by Liverpool. He has a very unique skill set, Moises Caicedo. He has an incredible tackling ability, and his potential is higher than most players. He's only 21 years old and he's already an established world-class Premier League midfielder. He has a good 10 to 15 years at the top of European football, at least 12 years minimum. And Sky Sports is reporting that Moises Caicedo and his representatives are currently in London, but they are expected to travel up to Liverpool shortly on a plane, and the player's medical is due to start later today. So the medical is booked by Liverpool. That's breaking news literally while I'm recording this video. Absolutely brilliant news. And Fabrizio Romano is saying that Liverpool feel Moises Caicedo is ready to say yes to their project. Unless something crazy happens on Friday morning, Moises Caicedo will be a new Liverpool player. But the fact that Liverpool already booked the medical, we already have shaken on the transfer with Brighton. Probably that's a written agreement as well. And Brighton's sales these past 12 months have been crazy. They sold Cucurella for 62 million pounds. They sold Caicedo for 111 million pounds. They sold Alexis McAllister for 35 million, Yves Bissouma for 35 million, Leandro Trossard 27 million, Sanchez, their goalkeeper, 25 million, Dan Burn for 13, Mopey for 12. So in total they sold players for like 370 million pounds. Absolutely crazy transfer business by Brighton. And Melissa Reddy said that Moises Caicedo is open to joining Liverpool, and there has been a swing in the deal in favor of Liverpool, but Chelsea thought they could really get Caicedo. And I think this is on Chelsea, because they took a whole month and a half to negotiate with Brighton and they still couldn't agree a deal with them. And it's funny because if they bid 100 million pounds, which was their last bid, but that was outbid by Liverpool, they would have gotten Caicedo. I think if Chelsea said to Brighton like 2 weeks ago, here's 100 million pounds, then Brighton would have accepted it. But because Chelsea did basically to Brighton what we did to Newcastle and just dilly-dallied too much on the deal, that's when Liverpool smelled blood. And I think that's what happened. You guys are asking how come Liverpool out of the blue are signing Moises Caicedo. Liverpool thought all summer, they were briefed all summer that Caicedo wants to go to Chelsea. Chelsea are bidding for Caicedo. So they thought there is no way in to get this deal done. But when this transfer dragged on for a whole month, and also when Liverpool couldn't get their other target, Roman Lavia, because they thought Lavia was overpriced at 50 million. And you might ask, isn't Moises Caicedo overpriced at 111 million? Of course he's overpriced. But there are very, very few world-class defensive midfielders on the market right now. Half of them are at Real Madrid, and the others, you know, Declan Rice went to Arsenal. Enzo Fernandez went to Chelsea for a similar amount, £105 million. And there are just so few defensive midfielders who are world class in the Premier League. I mean, Man City have Rodri and Calvin Phillips. Liverpool have none at the moment. So that was an absolutely transformative signing to bring in Moises Caicedo. And you have to pay the going rate for a defensive midfielder nowadays, because the top teams who are playing with such an aggressive, high line, high tempo, high energy counter-pressing system, you have to have a destroyer, a monster, a fast, energetic, dynamic, ruthless defensive midfielder, and those are a very rare breed. They are very few and far in between at clubs who are also established already, who have Premier League experience, and that comes at a premium. Probably Moises Caicedo in an ideal world would be worth around 60, 65, 70 million pounds, but because he's Premier League proven, because he's 21 years old, because three top clubs wanted him, it's Brighton who is the ultimate winner, and Liverpool of course, because Moises Caicedo costing 111 million is a lot. And for Liverpool to break the British transfer record again is unthinkable. I didn't think this would happen in our lifetime, honestly, with the likes of Man City, Man United, Chelsea operating on a whole different level. But Liverpool lost 7 or 8 players. Their wages were hugely significant. They were millions of pounds per month. Plus, Liverpool sold Fabinho and Henderson for 52 million. We signed Dominic Szoboszlai and McAllister for 95 million combined. But this takes our total spend to 200 million pounds. So we have a net spend of around 150 million, not 104 that I said earlier in the video. Apologies for that error. When you have a critical need in your team, it shows that it can become enough of a priority to make this deal. This is a transformative signing, like when Liverpool signed Van Dijk. That transformed the team. When Liverpool signed Alisson, that transformed the team. When Liverpool signed Fabinho, that transformed the team. When Liverpool signed Salah, and I could go on and on and on and on. Caicedo is this type of signing. He's worth 111 million to Liverpool because he transforms this team. Suddenly people are talking about Liverpool being title contenders again. When before the Caicedo signing, Liverpool were even a doubt to finish in the top 4. Which was, I think, a little bit harsh, but you could understand why. Because Liverpool conceded so many goals and they were so easily run over in midfield last season. This season we have a completely new midfield. Szoboszlai, Caicedo and McAllister, and also another massive plus. Caicedo played with McAllister for 2 years at Brighton, so they are already intertwined. They already know each other very, very well. Caicedo could come into the Liverpool starting lineup straight away and not have a problem playing in this Liverpool system. And also Caicedo offers Liverpool a lot of flexibility. Now we can again play a 4-3-3 formation. We can of course play our newest formation, the 3-2-2-3 formation, and we can adopt other formations, the 4-2-3-1 formation as well. What is crazy is that this 111 million pounds, which is a British transfer record and a Liverpool transfer record, is still 32 million pounds less than what Barcelona paid for Philippe Coutinho 6 years ago. And that, of course, enabled Liverpool to spend big on Van Dijk, Alisson and Fabinho and others, and Naby Keita as well. But this time, I think Liverpool, I said it before the transfer window even began. This Liverpool rebuild, Liverpool need to spend at least 200 million pounds to do a proper rebuild if we want to have a team ready to challenge for the title. With Lavia, we would have been ready to finish in the top 4, but I don't think that would have been enough to challenge for the title. And imagine if Liverpool signed Lavia on top of Caicedo. That would have been an absolute dreamland. And it's not out of the question because Liverpool can still sell some players. Maybe Tsimikas, Thiago, Kelleher, two of those players can be sold, and then Liverpool can sign other players. But I would prefer actually to sign a left-sided centre-back instead of another defensive midfielder. And if you average out Liverpool's 3 new midfielders, it's 68 million for each player, and a considerably lower net spend when you factor in the 52 million recouped from Henderson and Fabinho. So that way Liverpool have spent 153 million in net spend. But if you take off the wages that Liverpool saved, it's of course a lot lower. of a net spend. And I think Liverpool genuinely wanted Lavia even before we sold Fabinho and Henderson. So the Lavia transfer could still happen. And probably what happened is Liverpool might have had their eye on Tchouaméni, and they thought with Mbappe potentially going to Real Madrid would need to sell some of their key assets, and that's why Liverpool waited and didn't really get involved in the Caicedo transfer saga, because Tchouaméni was always Liverpool's first choice, but Tchouaméni decided to go to Real Madrid just like Jude Bellingham decided to go to Real Madrid. But then now that Levi Colwill signed a new contract at Chelsea and Mbappe is staying at Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid are not selling any of their big players, Liverpool decided we can't get Tchouaméni, we can't get Colwill, let's get Moises Caicedo. And you might ask, and you might wonder yourself, why didn't Liverpool sign Moises Caicedo at the beginning of the transfer window? Well, then we didn't sell Fabinho and Henderson. We didn't really need a £100 million defensive midfielder, but with Fabinho gone and with Henderson gone, that freed up a lot of wages and a lot of additional space in our midfield. After selling Fabinho and Henderson, we were desperate for a defensive midfielder. And one of the main reasons why defensive midfielders are now, it seems like this transfer window, they are the most expensive type of players. You have a much fewer pool of elite defensive midfielders to choose from than attacking midfielders or wingers or strikers. There are a lot of attacking midfielders, a lot of wingers, a lot of brilliant forward players, and that's why probably their price is a little lower. When you have so few elite defensive midfielders, their price, because of the demand is so high, will be also very, very high. It's mind-blowing, the £111 million. I agree with you guys, but Enzo Fernandez for 105 million, Declan Rice for 100 million set the bar for what a top defensive midfielder is worth in today's market. You either accept it and decide to compete at that kind of level, or you don't accept it, you don't pay those fees, and you fall behind. And you will the cost of missing out on the Champions League in multiple consecutive seasons is much bigger than £100 million. A club like Liverpool, because of sponsorship deals, because of your best players, we want to leave your club. So I think it's worth it to spend 111 million on Moises Caicedo, because it pretty much guarantees Liverpool finishing in the top 4. And Jurgen Klopp also spoke before his press conference with Moises Caicedo, and the medical is already booked. Moises Caicedo is in the process of flying to Liverpool. Jamie Carragher's reaction on this Moises Caicedo deal: I'm delighted to wake up to the news. Liverpool had to pay big money as clubs knew they were desperate, but signing 2 top young players from Brighton for £145 million combined and selling 2 of your own older players for £52 million is great business. And I agree with Jamie Carragher, spot on. And he said the exact same thing on the overlap. 110 million for Moises Caicedo, it's overpaying for them. But also selling Fabinho and Henderson for 52 million combined, that's also an overpayment on the part of Saudi Arabia. So you have to use that money and invest it properly into your team. James Pearce is also tweeting, Caicedo is a massive upgrade on Romeo Lavia, much more complete and exactly what Liverpool require at the base of their midfield, a real statement signing. Chelsea's failure to wrap up a deal for Caicedo in recent weeks left the door open for Liverpool, and Liverpool have taken full advantage. They have barged through their door, knocked Chelsea over and slapped Brighton in the hand, and of course 111 million pounds in their pocket. Absolutely brilliant. Moises Caicedo created 43 chances last season, only got 1 assist though and 1 goal. Successful dribbles 29, passes played into the box 64, 88.7% pass accuracy. He won 220 duels, successful tackles 50, possession won 248 times, 56 interceptions, 7 blocks. And what is crazy is that Caicedo and McAllister, combined to create more goal-scoring opportunities for Brighton than the whole Liverpool midfield last season, which is absolutely a crazy statistic, but it just shows how much better Brighton's midfield was than Liverpool's midfield last season. And also Liverpool now have a world-class defensive midfielder just like Fabinho, and Caicedo could even become better than Fabinho in the coming years, because remember, Fabinho was like 24, 25 when he signed for Liverpool, and that's when he really blossomed. Caicedo is only 21 and already how good he is. He is already at the world-class level. Imagine how good he will be in just 3 or 4 years time. And that's when Liverpool signed Fabinho. And we got a brilliant 5 years out of Fabinho. Plus, Liverpool have 2 brilliant goal-scoring midfielders. And this will free up McAllister to go forward and to score, to get assists. He doesn't have to play defensive midfield role anymore. Curtis Jones also doesn't have to play defensive midfield role. One of the main reasons why we didn't sign Jude Bellingham instead of Caicedo is that, yes, Bellingham cost a little bit less than Caicedo, but his wages will be literally triple of what Caicedo's wages will be approximately. Of course, I don't know exactly Caicedo's wages, but also Jude Bellingham at 300 or 350,000 pounds per week, he already matches Mo Salah's wages, who is the highest wage earner at Liverpool. But you have to extend Bellingham's contract or give him a new contract in 1 or 2 years. What happens then? Everybody will want to get pay rises. You can't have a 20 or a 21-year-old player be your highest wage earner at your football club unless you bump everybody else's wages. And that will collapse Liverpool's wage structure. Real Madrid can pay higher wages to their players than Liverpool. And what would make this even better is if Brighton bought Lavia and Chelsea ended up with Tyler Adams just as their midfield reinforcement. That would be absolutely hilarious. Let me know what you think about everything that we talked about in this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day. See you later. Good night.